Çok değerli katılımcılar, dünyanın değişik yerlerinden toplantımıza katılan değerli izleyiciler, Türkiye-Avrupa Birliği diyaloğunun odalar işbirliği programları üzerinden ele alındığı 2 günlük maraton toplantımızın kapanış oturumuna hoş geldiniz diyorum hepinize. Bu 2 gündür üzerinde konuştuğumuz konu, yani Türkiye Odalar Borsalar Birliği ile Avrupa'nın Odalar Birliği diyebileceğimiz EUROCHAMBRES arasında AB fonlarından yararlanmak suretiyle gerçekleştiren işbirliği programları esasen 2001 yılında başlamıştı. Bu arada değişik isimler verilmiş olsa, değişik yeni fonksiyonlar eklenmiş olsa da bu toplantıda biz esasen bu işbirliğinin 20. yılını da kutlamış oluyoruz. Onu da bu vesileyle hatırlatmak istiyorum. Geçtiğimiz 20 yıl içinde o içinde bulunduğumuz dönemin ihtiyaçlarına göre isimler ve yapı kısmen değişmiş olsa da işin özü aslında hiç değişmedi. Türkiye'den ve AB ülkelerinden,
the tens of chambers, even hundreds of chambers, making use of this program, both from Turkey and Europe. They had the chance to develop themselves as well as their capacity with a very simple way. I mean, a sincere and focused partnership. As you know, a partnership is a sine qua non of this complex age we're living in. It's a key factor. And this business dialogue is a great example of that. The system that we have formed and the panel itself that we're going to discuss today is very simple at its origin. If there's a new challenge in the face of a chamber, I mean, they try to solve their problem. Then they get some experience, some know-how, some methodology, and they share this with a chamber that is about to face the same problem or that already faces the problem. I mean, with the winning project. They work together and the other chamber learns from the first chamber. The learner and the teacher, indeed, I mean, face the mutated version, in a fashionable way, I would call it, of the problem. And so we can say that there's an intertwined learning and teaching process here. So that's what it is all about. So Chamber Twinning project or program is all about that. Since yesterday morning, there's been 5 sessions. The thematic priorities of the meeting, of the program, were taken into account. But in this last session, we will take a different approach. I mean, we will be talking about the benefits, the concrete example of the, benefits of the program itself, experienced by chambers. And whatever happens politically between Turkey and the EU, I mean, there is a good integration, and our chambers have been indeed putting the bricks on the wall thanks to these success stories. So, TEBD program, in the last twinning model, there were 19 twinning projects taking place, and we have picked 3 of them for you. The first one is energy efficiency. The second one is about digital twinning, and the third one is about automotive sector. So there are 3 projects here. So our distinguished speakers will be talking about their projects in general. One of the projects is, from Kocaeli Chamber of Commerce. So we will be listening from Kocaeli Chamber of Industry and Valon Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We will be listening from the president of Kocaeli Chamber of Industry, indeed, Ayhan Zeytinoğlu. He's also a very important business person. I won't talk about the project at all. I'll give the floor to him so that he can explain himself. Thanks a lot, Haluk. for giving me the opportunity. If you allow me, I'll be making my speech in English because we have some foreign guests.
Dear participants, I welcome you all to the EU High-Level Business Dialogue on EU Green Deal, EU-Turkey, webinar, and convey my respects to all of you. As you know, Turkey is a candidate country for EU membership. Accession negotiations have started in 2005. However, no new chapter could be opened since 2016. Despite the standstill in the negotiations, trade and economic relations with the EU are extensive. The EU is Turkey's % trade partner, while Turkey is EU's 5th or 6th trade partner. In 2020, 41.3% of Turkish exports went to the EU, worth about $69 billion, and 33.4% of our imports came from EU, worth around $73 billion. Export to import coverage ratio was 95.4%. However, the trade deficit against the EU since the start of Customs Union stands at $305 billion. The trade deficit has significantly decreased in the recent years, however. Despite the large volume of trade, Turkey is facing increased competition in the EU market. This stems from two major challenges. The first is the increased competition in the EU market due to the increasing number of EU's trade partners as a result of FTAs. The second is due to the adaptation pressure from changing trade policy, digitalization, and the Green Deal. The Green Deal will influence all of the EU's trade partners and also Turkey. The EU will bring new environmental conditions to its trade partners, such as requiring to sign and implement the Paris Climate Agreement. Products, regulations and standards will be revised in line with Green Deal requirements towards sustainable, durable, and recyclable goods and products. Moreover, the EU, in search of competitive advantage and level playing field, is planning to implement a carbon border adjustment mechanism. This will make life harder for carbon intensive sectors and bring additional costs. The European Green Deal is not only an environmental strategy, but an economic growth model, which will change the international trading system and division of labor between countries. The Green Deal makes the Customs Union modernization process even more critical and urgent. The Customs Union, which is already 26 years old, needs to be updated and modernized in line with the demand of current trade policies and realities. The Green Deal creates an additional barrier to the trade and economic relations with the EU. This barrier can only be overcome if we can adopt the Green Deal and make a successful transition to a low-carbon economy and sustainable society. Unless Turkey takes the necessary measures, the cost of EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism could be as high as 1.8 billion euros per year. The EU intends to allocate 1 trillion euros in order to finance the green transition until 2030. This support is mostly directed to member states of the EU. However, candidate countries such as Turkey and countries in the neighborhood of the EU can also benefit from EU support and finance opportunities. Turkey's continuing candidacy to the EU is an important advantage at this regard. If Turkey cannot benefit from EU and other international funds to finance the green transition, it would be really difficult for producers and industrialists to adapt themselves to the new standards and measures. Green Deal not only concern industry, but also agriculture with its from farm to fork strategy. New sanitary and phytosanitary measures will definitely impact agricultural trade. Turkey aims to extend the scope of custom union to include services, agriculture, and public procurement. In order to achieve this, we need to adopt greener industrial, agricultural, and commercial policies. The EU intends to become the world's leading manufacturer of environmentally friendly products, green energy, and green technologies. Circular economy necessitates a transition to renewable energy, recycling, and lowering of greenhouse gas emissions. We need to view the Green Deal not only as a risk, but also as a means to achieve sustainable development. It will also create new opportunities for production in line with environmentally friendly technologies and standards. We have to closely follow developments regarding the European Green Deal, analyze them and take early action and adapt to its effects. We in Turkey should first ratify the Paris Climate Agreement. Remember, Turkey was one of the first signatories in 2016. Update our commitments to the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions under the UN Climate Change Framework Convention and revise industrial, energy, agriculture, and trade policies to respond to the challenges of the Green Deal and adopt a roadmap in line with the EU. The 1 billion European Green Deal call, which was the last and biggest call under Horizon 2020, is a very important source of grants for Turkey. We have to closely follow it and develop projects in order to apply for funding. We have to form partnerships involving universities, research centers, business, and industry. Turkey has been benefiting more and more from EU research and development programs in recent years. A greater number of projects are accepted, including Turkish applicants. The current call does not only provide grants for enterprises and researchers in Turkey, but also presents an opportunity to work with the European counterparts in the transition to carbon neutral economy. Within this scope, the current call, innovative products, initiatives regarding the governance of green and digital transformation, and innovation in social and value chains will be supported. Dear participants, Kocaeli Chamber of Industry is currently running a project titled Development of New Service Model in order to support firms in energy efficiency. Within this scope of the call for Turkey-EU Business Dialogue Grant Program. Our partner in this project is the Walloon Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Belgium. Our aim is to increase the capacity of Kocaeli Chamber of Industry in energy efficiency and thus support activities of firms to manage energy efficiency at regional level. Increasing the profitability and competitiveness of micro SMEs by contributing to energy efficiency is significant in terms of economic productivity and savings. It is also a requirement for the Green Deal. Now let me tell you what we have done so far with this project. We paid a working visit to Belgium with a powerful group. We made research in Wallonia region regarding energy efficiency work, legal regulations, energy studies, cluster activities, and good practices in the area of energy efficiency. We also visited industry and treatment facilities in Wallonia region and made observations regarding energy efficiency projects. We even stayed at a renovated hotel, which was formerly a prison. During the hottest days of 2019 summer. We conducted detailed energy surveys to 10 firms and preliminary surveys to 20 firms which were members of Kocaeli Chamber of Industry in order to ascertain energy losses and potential energy savings. We prepared technical reports based on these surveys, which would provide guidelines for firms to reduce their energy consumptions. We determined the potential areas of energy savings in these 10 micro SMEs. These firms will be able to save up to 17% of their energy they consumed if they carried out the investment that we recommend. In addition, we prepared energy management plans in order to make energy savings sustainable for these firms. We are going to closely monitor these activities, of course. As Kocaeli Chamber of Industry, we built an energy management system in our chamber and certified it in order to increase our institutional capacity. We organized 3 training programs with 87 participants from 76 companies in order to increase the awareness of energy efficiency and energy management system. We are extremely pleased that more than 95% of the participants expressed their satisfaction with the project activities. We are going to organize the following online activities since we have to keep a social distance due to the pandemic. We are organizing three training activities: dissemination seminar, which will be attended by representatives of the Walloon Chamber of Commerce and Industry, visits to firms and institutions, and we are also providing energy efficiency consultancy to our members due to experience and knowledge we have acquired as a result of this project. I would like to wish a fruitful webinar and send my respects on behalf of the TOBB, Kocaeli Chamber of Industry and IKB. Thank you for your attention.
Konuşmanızı bitirdiniz.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zeytinoğlu.
Tek bir cümle, tek bir soru sormak istiyorum.
Well, you have ended your speech, but I'd like to ask one quick question. Well, most probably you are located in maybe the heaviest industrial zone in Turkey. Of course, you would somehow be aware of the energy efficiency and you would work on it. But can you, as a result, say that this project that you have been carrying out with the Walloon Chamber, did it really raise your awareness and your preparedness? Do you think that these projects should continue as they are?
I will try to answer you in English again.
Of course.
Of course, it made a big difference. Some of our companies are multinationals. Kocaeli is different from rest of Turkey, and the difference is 10% of our member companies are foreign direct investment companies, and they are size-wise relatively larger. So probably we won't be able to make any difference for them, but with SMEs, we are definitely making a big difference. And as far as those 10 companies are concerned, we have made 17% of reduction in their energy costs. So by itself, by alone, that number is a significant number. Of course, we need to increase the number 10 to maybe 200, 300. That is our goal.
Çok teşekkür ediyorum.
Thank you.
Bizi daha sonra dinleyecek olan karar
Okay,
alıcı-
then thank you very much. Well, for the decision makers who will be listening to us later on, what you have just said is fairly important. Indeed, that's what we're trying to show, and we have to underline, would like to underline that the program is ongoing. Thank you very much, Mrs. Zeytinoğlu. As I've said before, there is a second project, and this second project is, carried out by Istanbul Chamber of Commerce and Paris, Île-de-France Regional Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The name of the project is Twinning for Digitalization. Now, I'll turn to, I don't know which line you will be following to take the floor, Çağdaş Bey. Are you going to be the first to speak, or Pascal Coe? Well, based on your decision, please go ahead and take the floor. If it's okay for Pascal, I can start and then Pascal can finish.
Yeah, I'm fine. And you?
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Pascal. Can Çağdaş start now the presentation, or is that okay for you?
Evet.
Fine.
Evet Haluk Bey, izninizle
Go ahead.
başlayacağım.
Yes, if you allow me, I'd like to start the presentation. Well, thank you very much. I'd like to thank all the panelists and all the participants and express my deep regards. Well, I've had the opportunity to work with Haluk Bey before. I am a former member of the IKV team, so I had the opportunity to work with him, and it's a great honor to be sharing the same panel with Ayhan Bey and similarly with the other panelists. So I'd like to express my regards. I prepared my presentation in Turkish, so I'll be speaking in Turkish. If you allow me now, I'd like to share my screen. If there is any technical problem, if the technical team can warn me, I'll be pleased. Okay, then I'll start without further ado. Well, first of all, as Haluk Bey has mentioned, this is a twinning project, co-organized by Istanbul Chamber of Commerce and Paris Île-de-France Regional Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Istanbul Chamber of Commerce, while Emre Bey, Onur Bey, and me have worked, and from Paris, in Pascal and her team supported the project, while Pascal will be taking the floor soon, so she can also talk about it. So, first of all, briefly, I'll talk about how this project was born, and then I'll talk about some milestones in our project. And I'll talk about the products that we have created and the service structure. I have a presentation of 18 slides, and I just try to keep it short.
Şimdi tabii bu 2 gün için
So, throughout these 2 days, many panelists, many participants have mentioned that one of the top agenda items of the European Union is the Green Deal, and the other one is the digital transition. We were aware of that. We were already aware of that before the pandemic has even started. Well, of course, with the pandemic, the importance of that has tripled. But even before the pandemic, digital transformation and transition was on its way to be an important challenge for the Turkish companies. And in its well, of course, the backbone of Istanbul and Turkish economy is the SMEs, and we know that the SMEs were aware that the SMEs were having problems about digital transformation, and we thought whether we could develop a project on that to help them. And previously, we were already, in relation with the Paris Île-de-France Regional Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and we heard that they indeed have developed a project with a fund on digital transformation. It's called Legi Digitur. And based on the mentality of twinning projects, we said, why can't we carry out a project between Istanbul Chamber of Commerce and Paris Île-de-France Regional Chamber of Commerce and Industry? That's how the project was born. So, indeed, I briefly talked about the special purposes of the project. It's increasing digitalization capacity of Istanbul Chamber of Commerce and provide new services for the members, and to take the best practices, one of the best practices of the Paris Chamber of Commerce, and further develop capacity. I don't want to tell you with all the details of the project, but I just would like to talk about some milestones of the project. I'll talk about the position paper, situation analysis paper, methodology, Paris CCI reports, and creating the service structure, as well as the working paper and the position paper. Let me also mention the following. Haluk Bey also elaborated on that and did this analogy to like building bricks on bricks. So that's how the project mentality mindset works. It's basically you identify a problematic area or field, and then you create a roadmap as to how we can solve that problem. And just like the rings that are part of a chain, or just like adding more bricks on top of each other, building on it, you try to draw a conclusion and reach a result. So based on that mindset, the stronger the bricks that you lay in the foundation, the stronger your building will be. That's why we really paid great importance to first working package. Well, the first working package was composed of the digital services that Istanbul Chamber of Commerce were already presenting, providing to its members, and the SMEs that are members of the chamber, how they see digitalization and where they stood in terms of the digitalization. So we need information on that. So to get information regarding that, we have applied one of the most traditional ways, surveys. Why do I say surveys? Because there are 3 different surveys we applied for different purposes. The first one was the company surveys. The second one was the surveys for the sector representatives, like the members of the professional committees, and also the chambers in Europe, the surveys that are prepared for the chambers in Europe. And I will briefly touch upon that. I cannot get into details. So regarding the company surveys for the companies, well, I just am showing a couple of results. So how do the SMEs look at digitalization? Do they think digitalization is a need, and to what extent they think they got digitalized? If they think they didn't get digitalized enough, what are the reasons behind it? What are the pushbacks? And at the same time, what are their expectations from the NGOs like chambers or others, other organizations? We try to measure that out. For instance, to the question of to what extent do you think you got digitalized, and do you think that your internal or external company activities have been digitalized? No, the majority of them said no. And we said, we asked, can you say that you were harmed by that situation? Well, 60% of them said yes. Another question, if you think that you haven't gotten digitalized now, what are the reasons for that? The main answers are lack of finance, and I don't have any idea about how to do it. And as I said before, we also asked about the expectations, and over 90% of the SMEs have indeed been waiting to be guided by an organization. We got the same answer from the SME representatives and the companies. And the third survey was the surveys for the foreign chambers. So we prepared a survey and sent it to the chambers in the Europe through international organizations. Of course, to prepare this survey, first we had to do a scanning. We had to put forward the service areas. And once we've done that, we as Istanbul Chamber of Commerce, when we compare the services that we offer as a Chamber of Commerce, where do they stand? What do we lack? What are the shortcomings, or what are the pros that we have? In order to see all of that, to come up with a benchmark for ourselves, we have conducted these surveys. As a result, in line with our first working package, we indeed created our position paper. It's called position paper in English. And well, I went through this, but with one single sentence, I have to say, as a main reason of not being digitalized enough, when we asked them, why do you think you didn't get digitalized enough? They say lack of financing and lack of knowledge. So they say, I have no idea about or as to how I can do it. That's an important answer, because as an organization, as a municipality, lack of financing indeed, this lack of finance or financing problem, you cannot solve all the problem or to that regard of all the companies in Istanbul or Turkey, but you can do something about the lack of knowledge. That answer was important to us. And also the companies think that they should be guided by the authorities or organizations in that respect. So in which fields they need most the digital transformation is marketing, sales, electronic marketing, social media, visibility, and intra-company management, so basically organizational management. And once we have prepared this paper, we shared it with Paris Île-de-France. And Paris Île-de-France, by processing these papers, by seeing the situation in Istanbul, because we told them that these are the services that we offer in Istanbul. These are this is the situation of the SMEs in Istanbul. This is the look of them to digitalization. So what do you recommend to us? We asked them, as a chamber who went through all these processes, what would you recommend? And they created a very comprehensive methodology paper for us, what are the methods they apply in Paris, and considering the companies in Istanbul, the structures of the companies in Istanbul, and so what would they recommend in terms of models for the companies in Istanbul? So they sent all of these answers in a methodology paper, and they shared their recommendations about that. Apart from that, of course, Paris's contribution wasn't limited to that methodology paper only. We also had on-site visits in Paris, which really helped a lot. And we had the opportunity to see many things in place, like open spot, boutique connecting station kind of structures. We saw them in place. And also one of the most important startup centers is Station F. We had the opportunity to visit there. It's one of the most important centers, not only for Paris, for the whole world. They've created a competency program for us, and they made presentations. So anything that needs to be there in the consultation office regarding digitalization, the skills that the personnel should have, were shared by them with us. They created a program about that, and also about web platform. They prepared a training for us. We got that training. So I think it was a very useful training. Dear Çağdaş, well, in order to give some time to your project partner, can you please wrap up in 3 minutes? Because it's at 6 o'clock, we're going to connect to the general manager and the directorate representative. So can you please wrap up to give some time to your partner? Okay, I can do it. So all these contacts, the methodology paper, the position paper, as a result of all of these, we have driven 3 conclusions. Although it depends on different countries, the companies experience similar problems when it comes to digitalization, and there are similar answers to these problems. First of all, the website for digiters is an important window shop. But of course, it's not everything, because there are many structures supporting that website. In order to expand the area of impact and power and synergy, we need corporate partners. Well, it's about creating a digital ecosystem, what I mean with that. And all of these papers just mentioned, and the reports, we tried to melt it in one single pot, and came to a conclusion regarding what kind of a service structure we should be having. We asked a question to ourselves, and I'll give brief information about the service structure, if you allow me. Well, if you see my screen, I'll open the website. You can see my screen, right? Yes. This is how the website looks. We have different services to offer. We act as a one-stop shop, but we indeed want to collect different functions under one single platform. One of our big muscles is our test. What kind of a test is that, if you ask? It is basically a test that the companies could take by themselves and see how digital they are. It's a free test.
Depending on the area they're operating in, depending on their properties, I mean, they are asked certain questions, And I mean, depending on their answer, it's a self-learning system, so it gives another question, and they get a score for it. And afterwards,
Testimin sonucunda
as a result of the test in the morning, I have received 78.5 points. And the category is shared with you. It's like, this is what you I'm missing, this is what you should be doing. In terms of organization, you have 10 out of 9, sorry, 10, 9 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. So we show them their deficiencies. But of course, we need to give them a roadmap. I mean, this is what they lack, that's okay, but what are they going to do? I mean, we need to give them some answer, right? So in terms of organization, for them to fulfill their deficiencies, there is a roadmap. For customer services, there's a roadmap for that. So activities, events, training will be run through this website. We also have the digital academy with the support of Istanbul Trade University, the academicians there, and we received some professional support from them, and we have 5 to 6 days curriculum for the digital SME training. We have finished the first training as of this week, and for the content, of course, for digitalization or digital transformation, creating a difference and also awareness raising articles are involved, are included. This is how we update it ourselves. So I have 1.5 videos. I have 1.5 minutes video. Can I show that to conclude my presentation? Yes, please go ahead. Thank you. Let me start this, and then I will summarize everything itself. So digital SME platform has started the digitalization of many SMEs, and with its multifunction structure, it is the highest interaction platform, and platform is very inclusive. This is it's first step to the digital ecosystem, and it's for the corporate and operational capacity development of the SMEs. It's reliable, and it has the test and diagnosis structure to measure the levels of the SMEs in this regard, to help them to develop finance and accounting organization. With digital transformation guide, SMEs will learn at their own pace and at their own planning. The Istanbul Chamber of Commerce transformation process will help them to transform, and they are taking the first step in digital transformation with this project. mydigitалsme.org.
Çok teşekkür ediyorum.
Well, thank you
Dinlediğiniz için.
for your attention.
Bunu da söyleyerek kapatmış
One
olayım.
last note before we conclude.
Süreçte
In this process, we've gone through
tecrübeleri,
the experience we have gained.
bahsettiği gibi tecrübe paylaşımı çok önemli çünkü bu
As was mentioned by Haluk, these winning projects require experience sharing. That's why, our preliminary report and recommendation paper were, published. In the recommendation paper, we concluded it, as of December. There we summarized, what we have gone through, and we talked about what steps can be taken for digitalization. And we prepared Turkish and English versions of it. We send it to the Union of Chambers and Commodity Exchanges,
Kalkınma ajansları, Türkiye'deki
Turkish development agencies, other chambers, NGOs.
paylaştık. Yine bu belgeyi
And
isteyen katılımcılarımız
if you want to receive this recommendation paper, you can log into T4D at itob.org.tr. We will be happy to share the paper with you. Thank you very much. I hope I'm not delayed a lot. The floor is Pascal's now, I guess. Look. Thank you. You were delayed a little bit, but what you did, it was something good. I mean, seeing everything in such a paper would be useful. It's great. Under the chapter of green agreement, digitalization seems to lag behind a little bit, but I mean, it's key to environment again. So digitalization, without a digital generation, none of this can happen. Green transformation can't take place either. So I'd like to congratulate you on your achievements, Pascal.
Plan. Çağdaş very nicely explained us what they did from the learner's perspective. Now you are the teacher, and as the teacher side, the teaching side, how did it look to you? How was the project from your perspective?
So thank you for giving me the floor. In fact, at Paris Île-de-France Regional Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the consciousness arose several years ago that French economic players were late in terms of digitalization and that there were no general method for very small businesses and SMEs to support them in the process of a digital transition, however essential. Yet, the rise of digital appeared necessary for any company to avoid the risk of dropping out if it did not take the turn. Thus, Paris Île-de-France Regional Chamber of Commerce and Industry decided to commit to playing the role of a catalyst for the digital transformation of companies, thanks to its understanding of the mechanism of digitalization and the help of first-rank actors in this domain, business and public and private stakeholders. An action plan was launched to accelerate the digital transition of companies with a web platform as main tool to understand the world of digital transformation and access collaborative solutions like news and information on the digital revolution and its challenges, quizzes to assess the digital maturity of one's own business, appropriate solution for each of the company's functions, logistics, purchasing, marketing, human resources, typical courses and partner offers adapted to one's level of digital development. Moreover, a dedicated space was offered to companies with a co-working space to take advantage of shared workspaces, benefit from professional equipment and create new synergies, a showroom to discover innovative digital solutions and their uses, concrete illustrations and exchanges between entrepreneurs, workshops and conference debates to meet experts and gather specialized information like e-marketing, new digital models and trends, testimonials from business leaders. This space was created with experts coming from different horizons and acting in this domain, big companies, consulting companies, or other convinced actors who partnered with us. It was this know-how that was presented to Istanbul Chamber of Commerce colleagues in the project T4D, Twinning for Digitalization, when they came to Paris about 1 year ago for an appropriate visit, the presentation of the tool, shared spaces, and organization, like in Station F, Open Spot, and the connected shop, like Chashdash presented to you 1 minute ago, so that they could possibly adapt them, if necessary, to their business context in Istanbul. This project was developed thanks to the program TEBD, Turkey-Europe Business Dialogue, and EUROCHAMBRES in Brussels. It allowed the birth of the platform Digital Cobin that Chashdash presented to you now in Istanbul for the increase of services to Turkish businesses or their adaptation to the needs and expectation of the Turkish entrepreneurs. Thanks to this, it has also reinforced the links between both our chambers and developed the collaboration positively for a common goal. Paris-Île-de-France Regional Chamber of Commerce and Industry is happy and proud to have contributed to this project thanks to the colleagues and experts at Les Digiteurs in Île-de-France region and at Istanbul Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Chamber of Commerce. To conclude, I should mention that the digital sector is very lively, growing fast and in permanent evolution. So it requires from us flexibility, adaptability, and a constant watch to offer the best tools and services to our businesses. We were very happy to work with with our colleagues in Istanbul Chamber of Commerce. It has been a real pleasure for us. I'm now leaving the floor and again wish a long life to the Turkish platform Digital Cobim.
Thank you very much, Pascal.
Welcome.
I'm also very glad to hear that in addition to expected things like this web page for small and medium-sized enterprises, it was nice to see as a side effect, you have now better relations with the Istanbul Chamber of Industry than
It's
before.
true.
So this is also an desired side impact of such projects. Glad to hear that. Now, müsaadenizle Türkçe devam edeyim. Yine çok önemli bir
I'll switch
sektöre.
to Turkish. We will now proceed with a very important sector, automotive industry. In the upcoming period, I mean, of course, in line with the green deal and technology revolution, there'll be a lot of changes in automotive industry as far as we're concerned. And the automobiles that we know of will not, remain in 10 years' time, and we will be talking about a totally different automotive industry. And there will be a huge transformation, a huge change, and a lot of challenges ahead. I mean, you are at the verge of many challenges as a sector. In this sector, a project was completed, and two valuable speakers will be presenting the project. Muhsin Koçarslan from Bursa, Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He's a board member. And from Poland, our distinguished ambassador, Mr. Gazi Rosi, will be speaking. Your sector is indeed very important and very indeed vital, in Turkish economy. So let's make it a very interactive session. The floor is yours, Mr. Koçarslan. Let's start with you. Distinguished moderator, distinguished participants, distinguished business people, and ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend my deepest regards to all of you on my behalf and on behalf of Bursa Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And it's a great pleasure to be a part of this EU-Turkey high-level business dialogue on the Green Deal. And I'd like to thank everyone for bringing this event together. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to find opportunities between Europe and Turkey when it comes to automotive industry. And before I start talking about our project, I would like to touch on a couple of projects we have completed recently. The fast developing automotive industry is the largest exporter of Turkey. And of course, over the recent years, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, there were some unwanted impacts. However, we still had 26 billion worth of exports. And the European Union was our first export market with 76% share and $19 billion export. And Bursa is one of the most important production centers for automotive. We have a developed infrastructure, a qualified labor, we have a great manufacturing experience, both in domestic sense and international sense. It has become very competitive. province itself. And with customs union and Turkey's accession negotiations, we have started to take new initiatives in the automotive industry as well. In line with the harmonization, especially harmonization with the environment chapter, most of our companies indeed started to receive their quality certificates and reach up to the world standards. So with the digitalization of the European Union, the green deal at the same time, we are keeping a close eye on the matter. And of course, we need to adopt the Green Deal so that we can continue to play a pioneer role. Bursa is the largest chamber of industry and commerce in Turkey. And Bursa has a very important role in the automotive industry, and we want to strengthen this role further. And Teknosa, our technology organized industry zone, Kobe OSB, and Modern Factory are different projects that we have contributed to the Turkish economy.
And we'd like to make Bursa one of the privileged cities thanks to this project. And as a result of these projects, the very first local automobile production has happened in Bursa. This is going to be a totally electric car, and would like to produce it in Bursa. Right now, there is a factory construction process ongoing in Gemlik of Bursa. In October 2022, we expect that the very first prototype of this car will be out. And in 2023, which marks the 100th anniversary of our republic, it will be operational. And as Bursa Chamber of Commerce, with our #1 trade partner, the EU, it's important that we have a positive development of our economic relations, and I hope that they're going to be furthered also from a political point of view and others. So now I'd like to briefly show you a presentation on that. So in the scope, while finding opportunities and building bridges in the automotive industry between Turkey and the EU, which is a win-win project, is one of our projects that we attach importance to. Our project started in April the 1st, 2019, and lasted for around 1.5 years. Our sister chamber was Kilis Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Turkey, and alongside Bashkiskun Chamber of Commerce and Poland Chamber of Commerce were the other partners of this project. And with that project, we focused on the SMEs operating on the automotive industry, and we focused on the foreign trade, entrepreneurship, the environmental management, EU Acquitaire, and also intellectual industrial rights, informing them about all that, and also sharing the best practices between Turkish and the EU project partners, and that the SMEs to be encouraged by to participate in the bilateral business meetings in Poland and others. So it's the opening. We have conducted training seminars both in Bursa and Kilis, trainings on foreign trade, entrepreneurship, automotive industry, EU Communitaire, automotive industry, environmental management seminar, and intellectual industrial rights, as well as others, were the fields of training. We also visited Poland as a first foreign visit in line with the project. I personally attended these visits. Hacı Mustafa Cerkanlı, the head of Kilis Chamber of Commerce, and 10 other companies joined this mission. And first we attended the inaugurative meeting in Poland, and following that opening session, bilateral business meetings were held between the businessmen of the two countries. And also we attended the automotive cluster visit and we visited the leading automotive companies in Poland, and we visited their production facilities, and then we visited Hungary. January 2020, 10 companies have joined the mission. We first attended the business forum organized by the Hungary Chamber of Commerce, and then followed by the bilateral business meetings, and then we visited the automotive production facilities there. In February 2020, we hosted the Polish mission in Bursa. It was a very effective organization, an event. Together with the mission, the delegation, we visited Bursa model plant and also others. As you know, as of March 2020, the COVID outbreak started. Well, with the Hungarian team, we organized our training meeting online, and 6 companies joined that online meeting. Again, the closing session of the project was held online again last year, September. And this project indeed helped building bridges, establishing new cooperation between Turkey, Hungary, and Poland, and to exchange experiences. So as a result of this project, cooperation agreements were signed between the chambers of different countries. So primarily environment, intellectual industrial rights, and 2 other items were on the agenda, and in 4 different languages. The booklets were created and published on the website. So as Bursa Chamber of Commerce, we were very pleased to be a part of a project like that. And we hope that our relations with the EU, the cooperation, the collaboration with the EU will further increase, and we're ready and will continue to work with every effort we have. So with these thoughts, I'd like to thank TOBB and also EUROCHAMBRES leading these efforts, and also the European Union providing financial support, and all the other stakeholder chambers that we work together in this project, and the representatives of the business world and the project experts. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to end my remarks here. And now I'd like to give the floor to Sarsa Drashta, the Foreign Relations Director from the Polish Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I would like firstly to thank the organizers for inviting me to participate in this very important event. It's a really great pleasure to say a few words about our very, very good and long-standing cooperation with Turkish chambers, chambers of commerce and chambers of industry, and especially with our partner Bursa Chamber of Commerce and Industry. As it was said before by Mr. Kochaslan, we have participated together with our partners from Turkey and Hungary in the TEBD project, finding opportunities and building bridges in the automotive industry between Turkey and European Union. In this project, leadership was in the hand of Bursa Chamber of Commerce. The basic aim of this project was to establish close relations and cooperation between the companies of in automotive sector in Turkey, Hungary, and Poland. The sector which is really very important for the economies of these 3 countries. I could say that automotive industry in Poland is one of the most important for our exportation and for our production in general. Within this project, we had a great pleasure to receive the delegation, as Mr. President said, the delegation from Bursa Chamber, headed by Vice President Mr. Muhsin Koçaslan. Turkish entrepreneurs representing this sector paid 2 days visit in Poland, fortunately before pandemic in December 2019, and last year also a few days before lockdown in February 2020 took place Polish 2 days revisit in Bursa, in which participated representatives of small and medium-sized enterprises of automotive sector and business environment institutions. Both missions in Poland and in Turkey met with great interest among the branch companies and organizations. Our close and friendly, really, cooperation with Bursa Chamber of Commerce culminated by signing the agreement of cooperation 2 times, first in October 2003 and the next one in October 2016. With our Turkish partners from Bursa, we are working on another project, Erasmus Plus Young Trade Ambassadors, which have just started after a small delay due to the COVID pandemic. This project is realized with chambers from Serbia, Germany, and UK. I would like to underline that we are very happy to continue our partnership and cooperation, and we hope for further and fruitful development of businesses, trade, and other relations within the fields of mutual interest and vital interest for both countries. I would like to thank you very much for all contacts we have now, and of course we hope that we will do our best in the future. Dikkatinizi için çok teşekkür ederim ve ilerideki çalışma.
Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish all of you success and accomplishment in your future works, in also the future projects that we're going to carry together. Well, thank you very much, not just to us, but to all the participants. Thank you. We have used our time excellently. I believe we have 2 or 3 minutes of our time left. As you know, there's going to be an evaluation session just after us. Mr. Popovsky, Director General of DG NIR, and the Ambassador, Mr. Bozay, the Permanent Delegate of Turkey to the EU, will be offering their recommendations on this meeting. So I just would like to, of course, they will underline the success of this whole event, but my humble lesson that I've learned from the session, that every participant have been very pleased, and all the projects that were presented here created real differences, and that this project, TEBD project, should continue. That's what I think. Of course, maybe you have your other opinions and thoughts that you'd like to share, but we don't have time to give the floor to each and every one of you. But well, I'd like to turn to Ayhan Zeytunoğlu, the President, to use our last 4 minutes to like that. So maybe we can get the last remarks, the closing remarks from you to close this session. Oh, thank you very much once again. Let me continue in Turkish. Maybe you have realized I delivered my opening speech, the introduction, in the chamber, but then I came home on a special occasion. It's my birthday today, so I had to come home. So I'm sorry about that. Happy birthday, by the way. Thank you very much. Well, I believe, as I seen, as far as I'm concerned, in Bursa and Istanbul Chamber of Commerce, there were no problems. But the problem for us, unfortunately, our twinning chamber, we couldn't pay the visit because of the pandemic. If we would have done it, we would have gotten better results in our own projects. So due to our own processes, of course, it's key to visit the plants and evaluate everything there. But we were seriously affected by the pandemic. But as you have mentioned, I wish for the continuation of this project in the future, and I believe it will really be very beneficial for Turkey to get integrated with the EU. I believe these projects are very valuable. I kept it short to give the floor to my fellow panelists. Okay, Mr. President, thank you very much, but we don't have time to give the word to other panelists. It's time to finish it now. Well, I see that the Mr. Ambassador and the acting director have already joined. Let's finish this session here. So to hear about the closing remarks and the recommendations, I'd like to now give the floor to the Ambassador, Mr. Boza, and acting director general, Mr. Popovsky. Go ahead, please.
I'll make some generic comments, and then I will also try to give our vision comparing to Green Deal. And this was a very timely organization. I would like to congratulate, first of all, EUROCHAMBRES for organizing this very important and timely event. Green transformation along with digital transformation is now one of the most important policy areas in both the EU and Turkey. I would like to thank TOBB, Oya, and chairman of İKV, Ayhan Zeytinoğlu, for arranging this. And I also congratulate your birthday. You are getting 1 year younger, that you look great. And then we are very happy that you are here with us. And your energy, your wisdom is always guiding us how to continue our studies. And I would like to thank again for your support in our common endeavor related to the Green Deal. You know, Green Deal is a very ambitious and multidimensional transformation project and requires joint thinking, discussion, and action in many areas between the EU and Turkey in the levels of both public and private sector. In this respect, I'm very pleased to see that a wide range of issues were discussed extensively in this two-day event, from required skills for green transition to recovery of the world economy in the post-pandemic era, from investment needs of the Green Deal to sustainable finance and circular economy. This activity will be registered as one of the main steps to arrange our preparation for the Green Deal from both European side, from EuroChamber Turkey relations and Turkey-EU relations. I would like to thank to Deputy Minister, Mrs. Batur, Ambassador Mr. Kaymakçı, Deputy Minister Kaymakçı, Ambassador Landrut, as well as TOBB President Mr. Sarcıklıoğlu and EuroChambers President Mr. Lytle for their valuable presences and contributions in this event, which I believe shows very clearly the importance given this topic by both the Turkish government and Turkish and EU business circles. Turkey and the EU are strategic partners with the ultimate goal of Turkey's accession to the EU, and it is the mutual interest of Turkey and the EU to further deepen our relations in all fields. Today, Turkey is the sixth main trading partner of the EU, and there is a strong economic integration among the EU and Turkey. We should work together to deepen our relations with a positive agenda. Recently, the European Commission announced its new trade strategy with a strong emphasis on green transition. There is no doubt that the European Green Deal is promising a comprehensive green transition, which brings some difficulties and challenges for all sectors, and mainly to business people. But we should not overlook that it will also create new opportunities, which can be results of a global engagement and cooperation. As rightly mentioned in the new trade policy paper of the EU, tackling climate change and other environmental challenges can only be done through openness, global engagement, and cooperation. In this respect, I strongly believe that cooperation between Turkey as a candidate country and the EU on the European Green Deal is not only a driving force for the positive agenda, but also a must for delivering Green Deal goals by the EU. As stressed by all participants, to make a green transition in the EU needs a harmonized green transition on Turkey as well, since Turkish sectors are an integral part of the EU's supply and value chains. Considering the integrated structure of our markets and the Turkey's special relations with the EU as a customs union partner and a candidate country, green transition will only be possible with our common will and joint action. For ensuring this cooperation, we are in a process of establishing a consultation mechanism with the Commission. As a beginning, we are planning and working on to start our consultation on the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM, since we need to ensure its application as a climate and carbon neutral related adjustment rather than a trade barrier and a tool of protectionist tendencies. Within this period, our aim is to ensure a proper functioning of the CBAM in line with the WTO rules, customs union provisions, as well as our preferential trade regime on coal and steel products. In this process, a fair transition is as important as a green transition. Therefore, expecting an income of the CBAM, which is planned to be used for the green transition of the EU, should be used also for the green transition of the candidate countries like Turkey. With this understanding, we will enhance our contacts with our counterparts, with the EU institutions, and also with member states. However, the active participation of business circles like yours, like EuroChamber, like TOBB, from both sides to these efforts is prerequisite for a concrete and meaningful Turkey-EU cooperation on the Green Deal. The bilateral engagements of Turkish and European business circles has a key and crucial importance. Although our main goal is to find ways and ensure a direct access of Turkey as a candidate country to the EU funds for green transition, with some ways possible, like member states are benefiting, Turkish sectors can still benefit from the green finance of the EU thanks to this business cooperation, like EuroChambers cooperation between our chambers, and also having this network of business circles. By making green designs, innovations, and eventually production together for this new green market, they can not only reach the EU's funds, but also develop new business models and practices which deliver green goals on our integrated value chains. Only in this way we can take the advantage of the new opportunities. If we overcome difficulties together, we can take the advantage of these opportunities more broadly and more meaningfully. In that sense, taking the opportunity to talk in this event, which is following with interest by the business in both sides, I would like to call them for developing cooperation models, research and development and innovation projects together. We are all well aware of the fact that greater integration and cooperation between Turkey and the EU in all areas will definitely have positive implications both for the EU and Turkish business circles. In this respect, as it has been emphasized by EuroChambers President Christoph Leitl and TOBB President Rıfat Sarcıklıoğlu in their opening remarks, and also a number of times during the event, both by the EU and the Turkish business world, modernization of customs union would provide a unique opportunity not only to deepen trade and economic integration, but also to enhance cooperation among the parties in a number of areas, including the European Green Deal and digital transformation. If we are able to start negotiations on the modernization of the customs union, we'll be discussing these areas in addition to current framework of the negotiations. Accordingly, we see the modernization process as one of the most important positive agenda items, but also a must for harmonization between the EU and Turkey in the scope of the EU acquis communautaire, which is evolving according to the norms and standards of the Green Deal. The customs union modernization is more significant than yesterday, following the protectionist policies in global trade conditions brought by pandemic as well as the Brexit in today's world. I believe that the business world and the relevant NGOs have important things to say and to do on this issue. Businesses are the ones that benefit most from the customs union and the ones that would benefit from its deepening. Therefore, I would like to invite the representatives of the European Union and Turkish business worlds and NGOs to pronounce more loudly the benefits of the process with a view to deepening relations among the EU and Turkey. In this respect, I would like to once more congratulate EUROCHAMBERS, both for the organization of this event, for all the work they have done for enhancing dialogue between the EU and Turkey so far, and Oya Hanım for her efforts. And now I will be very happy to hear my dear colleague, distinguished Director General Maciej Popowski will say, and I would like to thank him for all his efforts and his open door when we have new ideas about Green Deal. I'm always finding ways to reach him. We have exchange of views, and this is very helpful. It was because of that, it was a meaningful closing statement, as he knows in detail all these relations, and he is one of the best partner of Turkey and doing everything for in a constructive way to enhance Turkey-EU relations. Thank you very much, all.
Thank you, Mr. Bozay. It was a great intervention. Now, the business world talked, the diplomacy talked, bureaucrats talked, and now the word is that the institution that made all this program possible, providing the necessary funds, European Commission. Mr. Popowski, for the final remarks and the closing, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nuray. Thank you for having me. Thanks to EUROCHAMBERS and TOBB. It's a pleasure and an honor to close this important event together with my friend Mehmet. And indeed, we are very close partners. We are even physically quite close to each other because his office is just 100 meters from mine. Look, the format and the topic of the discussion were important for enhancing the EU-Turkey understanding on the existential and the global challenges. And also the timing is relevant as we are still focusing on the post-COVID recovery. Let me just reiterate a few points. The Green Deal is in fact Europe's growth strategy. It was put forward before the pandemic, but became even more relevant now at the height of the crisis. This is driven by scientific evidence and economic logic. It aims to lead the European Union towards a modern, resource-efficient and competitive economy. In the transformative economy of the future, there are no net emissions of greenhouse gases. The natural capital is protected and economic growth is decoupled from resource use and pollution. The Green Deal is also about creating jobs, increasing competitiveness and boosting innovation to make the EU a world leader in clean technologies. So it also benefits the single market. The EU's green transition will be supported by our trade policy. To fully harness the potential of green transformation, we need rules-based, undistorted, and fair trade. We need investment in clean technologies, in green goods, green services, and strategic raw materials. we must also promote climate-friendly public procurement. The recovery agenda must include transformation of our food systems as well. They are not yet sustainable or fair enough with respect to environmental, health, social and economic aspects. As the world's largest single market, the EU will set standards that we hope will apply across global value chains. The Green Deal can only be successful if it involves all actors at national, regional and local level. It goes without saying that the role of investors and businesses will be one of the key factors enabling successful green transition. Every industry must be part of this transformation. Policy and regulatory initiatives must encourage private funding in low carbon and climate resilient investments. Clarity on the long-term objective provides predictability and certainty to economic actors, businesses and citizens. The ability to adapt to climate change and concentrate on sustainable development will be important for ensuring competitive advantage to all businesses in the future. No economy can hope to thrive while ignoring climate and environmental degradation. Of course, we the EU cannot achieve this goal alone. The ecological transition for Europe can only be fully effective if the EU's immediate neighborhood also takes effective action. So the EU's interest in low carbon, circular green economy, its ability to safeguard routes for international trade in goods and services, its energy supply and transit can only be achieved together with stable and prosperous partner countries. And naturally, green efforts have to be tailor-made to the specific countries. We are fully aware that the adaptation of our partners' economies and societies to the new green paradigm will be challenging. It will require strong political commitment and substantial level of investment. However, the cost of inaction would be certainly bigger. And the need for the green investment is not just a challenge, it's also a great opportunity to attract private funding to support growth and to renew infrastructure. Turkey has the capacity to pursue the green agenda goals. And I believe it can assume leadership in the wider region if it embarks on the necessary reforms early enough. It's in the country's direct interest to follow the EU with determination, given that its economy is so closely linked with the single market, mainly through the customs union. Turkey should invest in a greener and more sustainable economy, not least to maintain the same degree of economic cooperation with the EU in the future. So there is actually no opting out. But more than anything, Turkey should be inspired by the Green Deal for its own good. It would help increase Turkey's international competitiveness and lead to growth and jobs creation. Therefore, it would help tackle Turkey's most important economic problems like unemployment. The first step for the country is to urgently determine its policy strategy and its ambitions with regard to the green transformation, full consultation, of course, with stakeholders. This would be the first step towards establishing clear parameters so that the citizens and the market can follow with confidence. Long-term certainty and predictability are essential. Only this will unlock sustainable private investment. Only this will make citizens feel that the policies are fair and leave no one behind. The Commission considers that urgent steps are necessary to demonstrate Turkey's commitment to the international climate change and sustainable development agenda. It is a concern that Turkey has not ratified the Paris Agreement on climate change. We hope it will follow soon. We think that climate action needs to be mainstreamed into different sector policies, and that would provide clear direction for future development of the country. We are determined to use our own experience when encouraging others to act. So the Commission is of course ready to support Turkey and has been supporting Turkey in the endeavor of the green transformation through policy dialogue and financial assistance. As you know, under external action instruments, under the the new current new multi-annual financial framework of the European Union, support to climate change or to climate change management will be one of the main priorities of the European Union. In the case of Turkey, this support will be considered via the instrument for pre-accession assistance that will provide funding for the period between 2021 and 2027. Turkey may also want to take advantage of the integrated new financial package under the so-called European Fund for Sustainable Development Plus. It provides financing capacity in forms of grants, budgetary guarantees, and financial instruments. To be considered for support, the proposed projects must fit within the thematic windows of this new fund, and support to the Green Deal will certainly be one of them. To sum up, let me once again stress the European Green Deal is about turning climate and environmental challenges into opportunities. But the longer we wait, the more expensive it will be for all. Businesses all over the world are seizing the opportunities of increasing demand for sustainable products, services, and consumption. They are already now reaping the benefits of better resource productivity, circular economy, less waste and energy consumption. New markets are appearing, and future competitiveness belongs to early movers. So once again, and in conclusion, I would like to thank everyone from the organizers for this event, and I would like to thank all the participants for the contributions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Popovsky. Before we really close the screen, to be fair, probably we have to listen one more person, Mr. Ben Butters, the CEO of EUROCHAMBRES. Without them, really, none of these would have happened. My dear friend, Ben, please, would you be kind enough to say the last words of this two-day event?
It would be an honor, Haluk. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Ambassador Bose, Director General Popovsky, it's a pleasure to hear your words, and thank you for your support for this event. It's been a fantastic 2 days, very intense 2 days with rich discussions, really densely packed in content. Our president, Christoph Leitl, at the beginning of the event yesterday spoke about the need for constructive engagement in these troubled times, and I think the last day and a half have really demonstrated how we can do that, and the importance that we succeed with that objective. If we're going to get out of this crisis, both the EU and Turkey, we need to work together to kickstart the recovery, and the Green Deal is, of course, a very important component in doing so. Director General Popovsky, you spoke about the Green Deal as a growth strategy. That's a crucial element to the Green Deal, of course, and it's really critical that we don't forget that, and it is pursued with that in mind. So I just want to thank everybody for their contribution. Thank you to my colleagues Oya and the TEBD team for their tireless work to prepare this event, and for the colleagues in TOBB for their support, and to all of the experts and speakers who have been involved over the last couple of days. I think it gives us a really good basis to move forward with these discussions, and a really strong and positive message to our political leaders that we need to build a stable and prosperous relationship between the EU and Turkey if our economies are going to recover and prosper in the future. So thank you again. It's been a pleasure hosting this event for the last couple of days, and I wish everybody all the best.
Thank you.
Yes. Then probably the host should close the meeting now. Everybody have a nice day, nice days in front of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
contribution.
you.
All the best. Thank you very much.
Bye bye. Ayhan Bey, doğum gününüz kutlu olsun tekrar.
Haluk Bey çok teşekkürler.
Ayhan Bey, happy birthday once again. Ayhan Bey, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you.
Görüşmek üzere.
Görüşmek üzere.
See you. See you. Thank you.